So USAID, USAID, people are crying about it, and Elon Musk and Donald Trump are gloating and making fun of it. So let's talk about what's going on with USAID. So USAID as an institution is, on some shaky ground. So let's talk about what's going on here. We got an article from RT, just to trigger the vote blue no matter who, people. Elon Musk has derided pro-Western Russian and Ukrainian media outlets over their degree of perceived independence, as the publications now find themselves under severe financial strain following U.S. President Donald Trump's clampdown on the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID's ID. So there you go. Shortly after his inauguration, Trump suspended most of U.S. foreign aid, except for Israel, pending a 3-month review, which primarily affected USAID, Washington's agency for funding political projects abroad. Because what could go wrong with all the political projects overseas? Not once, not ever can there ever be an incident in which things went wrong. Continuing on, Trump has called for the agency to be shut down altogether, citing rampant corruption and overall inefficiency. On Sunday, Elon Musk, the head of DOGE, the Department of Government of Efficiency, DOGE, and also fierce critic of USAID, mocked a Washington Post article entitled "Independent Media in Russia, Ukraine Lose Their Funding with USAID Freeze." Independent Media, LMAO, wrote on X, employing the acronym "Laughing My Wazoo off." There you go. See, I could say one step ahead of the censorship, just a tiny bit. The Washington Post reported a highlighted dire financial situation many pro-Western media in Ukraine and Russia found themselves in following Trump's return to the White House. The article also noted the lack of funds affected Ukraine's small regional outlets and investigative websites. I wonder, are they going to investigate, what happened to the money? We played a video in which Zelensky was saying, "I don't know what happened to the money. I don't know where the money's at." Just to bring out a heroic individual in Chicago history. If you had said that to the great Saint Alphonse Capone, he would be greatly disappointed in you and tell you that you need to take a long, cool swim at the bottom of Lake Michigan. Now, nothing bad's going to happen. Just go for a deep dive wearing cement shoes. Not going to say you don't know where the money is, because maybe it's my inner Chicagoan coming out, but where is the money? How come you don't have the money? I'm looking up, I'm looking down, Zelensky. Now I'm looking at your pockets. Where's your money? Where's the money? So, of course, corporate media, NBC in particular, were very upset and quite triggered that these cuts were happening. Shout out to Case Study QB, who's wrongly being censored. He does a lot of great work. Let's play this video.
Tonight, President Trump's latest move in his campaign pledge to slash the size of the federal government. All employees at the U.S. Agency for International Development, which distributes foreign aid, receiving this email saying most staff will be placed on administrative leave at noon Friday.
Hey, ho, ho, Elon Musk has got to go!
You know what? We could probably see Matt Orfala there because we had him on the show earlier, and he was interviewing people who were protesting and marching and being upset that USAID was being cut. I mean, to these protesters, do you even know why you're protesting anymore? Is it just because Elon Musk and Donald Trump offend you? Well, guess what? They're the cartoon villains. Where was that same energy that was happening under Democrat administrations? Where was that same energy when Biden or Obama or Bill Clinton were implementing policies, these neoliberal policies that would never happen under a Republican administration? But boy, oh boy, have people turned a blind eye when a Democrat's in office. It's a fascinating case study, no pun intended.
Democrats protesting the cuts quarterbacked by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency.
We don't pledge allegiance to Elon Musk. We are here to fight back.
Press X to doubt.
No one elected Elon Musk to nothing.
While Republicans defending Musk.
USAID has got to actually serve the interests of American foreign policy. It ought to be to promote the interests and well-being of the American people, not some left-wing woke agenda.
Musk posting overnight, Democrats' quote, hysterical reactions are how you know that DOGE is doing work that really matters. This is the one shot the American people have to defeat bureaucracy. In another cost-cutting move, the Trump administration now offering buyouts to most employees at the CIA and other intel agencies. More than 40,000 federal employees so far have already accepted an earlier buyout offer, according to a source familiar.
Yes, and hold on. People saying that of course, whereas Elizabeth Warren was elected to nothing. That's right. And hashtag Blue Mafia made Musk wealthy. Now they don't like their monster. Of course, folks, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, they donated to Democrats. They were good billionaires. Remember that? Remember that? How the current now DNC chair is looking for good billionaires to donate to the Democrat Party. How fantastic that they have decided now to now vilify these two people. And to be clear, look, Trump and Elon do deserve criticism, but it's not now that we're seeing our government get corrupted. This has been continuous and ongoing. They're nothing new. It's just they got a big bullhorn, and people who are not emotionally mature, mentally strong, people who are not serious are hyping and riling people up and having them protest or hold these glorified parades, and they have no idea why they're marching. You know, I would love to see that same energy from these protesters here in Chicago in particular. Hey, go in front of these federal buildings where these politicians are at. Protests against Mayor Brandon Johnson and his failures to this city. Trump Tower is a private building, hotel, restaurant, you know, people living there too. That's not where policies dictated in the city or even federal policies are dictated. It's just a goddamn private building in downtown Chicago. So keep on doing your Ho-Fest protest, but hold on. The head, Samantha Power, recently, again, former USAID administrator, describes being laid off. Correction, former USAID administrator describes being laid off in the Trump administration. Try not to be scared, folks. In 3, 2, 1.
Find a termination notice or a leave of absence notice that you didn't expect to get on a flawed predicate that you're doing radical leftist insubordination, it's pretty jarring. And because there's so many lies and falsehoods circulating, and so many claims that people are sort of not with the program, I think people are just completely dislocated. There's no stable ground on which to walk. And then, of course, most of them have been laid off, so they're worried about how they're going to pay the bills and how they're going to make rent. But maybe the part that is the most striking and, for me, inspiring, if not surprising, having worked there for 4 years, is that, you know, the people who work at USAID did not come to work at USAID for the money. The civil servants, the foreign servants, the contractors, they came to USAID because they wanted to make a difference in the world, because they saw America's interests.
Big Basil, get up, go see the White House counselor right now. Shame on you for writing that. Shame on you. Shame on you indeed.
As tied up with the interests of people, vulnerable people around the world. And so even as they're struggling to figure out how to make rent, all of a sudden, they're most struggling with the fear that so many millions of people who relied on us as a country, on USAID as an agency, but on them as individuals.
Grapentine, she looks like William Dafoe. Listen, hey, first of all, Grapentine, you make fun of the Dafoe, then you have got to go. I will not tolerate that in the chat. How dare you? William Dafoe is a legend in this household. How dare you?
That those individuals out in the world have no place to turn. And indeed, they're showing up and finding health clinics shuttered and soup kitchens closed, and advisors who were helping governments renegotiate debt with China, those advisors, now taken off the books. So just the wreckage in the world is what the USAID staff that I'm in touch with are carrying with them. That's what's keeping them up at night, as much as the question of.
But see, the thing is, with the real question that's being addressed is overall how much money and resources were being wasted by USAID. Because notice the quick panic that you're seeing from Democratic lawmakers now trying to stop or put whatever legal problems in front of the Trump administration or Elon Musk to prevent any further dismantling of USAID. But everything has to be revealed. Everything must be shown because we do know that there is a massive amount of government waste happening in Washington, D.C., and people are furious. And there are legit reasons for people to be angry. And in turn, when you hear stories about this amount of corruption and incompetence, say that to the victims of the hurricanes that happened on the East Coast, who are still waiting for relief. Say that to the victims of the Lahaina wildfires that devastated Lahaina. Say that to the victims of LA County, an entire county that has Los Angeles in its district, crippled and devastated. Say that to the victims of Flint, Michigan, or East Palestine, Ohio. People are angry and they don't want to see this amount of money going into USAID. And let's look at every time we've been involved with projects overseas. It's always been a complete disaster. Coups, regime change wars, political instability. And in turn, those very same problems are coming right here to the United States. Everything must be investigated. Now, do I trust Elon Musk or Doge to do the right thing? Of course, there's going to be some examples and exceptions here and there. I am curious to see if there's going to be a full audit of the Pentagon. Anybody that's ever tried it, well, there's always been some kind of shenanigan here and there. And I think that's as much as I can say without the jackboot being put on my neck. But Donald Trump even weighed in on the USAID audit. I sure hope he has the same kind of fury and passion for the Pentagon to be audited as well.
Early Saturday, a judge agreed with them to restrict Elon Musk and his government efficiency team, Doge, from accessing Treasury Department payment and data systems. They said there was a risk of irreparable harm. What do you make of that? And does that slow you down on what you want to do?
I disagree with it 100%. I think it's crazy. And we have to solve the efficiency problem. We have to solve the fraud, waste, abuse, all the things that have gone into the government. You take a look at the USAID, the kind of fraud in there,
And you
where
found
the money's
significant
going.
things.
Well, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars of money that's going to places where it shouldn't be going, where if I read a list, you'd say, this is ridiculous. And you've read the same lists, and there are many that you haven't even seen. It's crazy. It's a big scam. Now, there's some good money, and we can do that through any one of a number. I think I'd rather give it to Marco Rubio over at
Already, I could see the same problems happening. You're mentioning little boy Rubio, which, okay, I guess Trump has forgiven him, but does Rubio deserve the same kind of trust? Remember, he's been part of that system too. Only now are people talking about USAID. Only now people are doing this. Only now people are showing their outrage. How authentic are all these people who are being truly outraged by it? Now, I have my reasons to be outraged by it. I have my reasons to be upset about it, especially with the amount of checks or money or subscriptions, money not monetized subscriptions going to what, news media outlets. I want to know overall just how hyped up all these institutions that claim to be authoritative, just how authentic their audiences truly are.
the State Department. Let him take care of the few good ones. So I don't know if it's kickbacks or what's going on, but the people, look, I ran on this, and the people want me to find it. And I've had a great help with Elon Musk, who's been terrific.
Bottom line, you say you trust him.
Trust Elon? Oh, he's not gaining anything. In fact, I wonder how he can devote the time to it. He's so into it. But I told him do that. Then I'm going to tell him.
There's also a little subtlety there. It's the only way I can get him out of Mar-a-Lago. It was the only way I could get him out of Mar-a-Lago. The guy won't leave. Barron's headed up to here with him. I'm hearing from everybody. He just won't leave Mar-a-Lago. That's probably the main reason why. That has to be. Has to be the only reason why.
Very soon, like maybe in 24 hours, to go check the Department of Education. He's going to find the same thing. Then I'm going to go to the military. Let's check the military. We're going to find billions, hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud and abuse. But I campaigned on this, Brett.
So, what can we take away from this? First of all, I'm loving the collective meltdown from the vote blue, no matter who people and Democrats for USAID. They had no problems wasting the money on it. And now, as soon as it's being audited, they're panicking because everyone's realizing that's one big scam. And Democrats have been involved in it. Now, on Harlan's Media's birthday stream, hey, we've turned 8 years old. Isn't that awesome? Our YouTube channel, that is. We played a video of Hunter Biden talking about USAID way back in 2014. So this whole thing needs to be called into question, our overall investments or projects that we've done overseas, the pain and suffering that has been done. And we did hear it where Trump mentioned the Pentagon. If he truly follows through and crosses that Rubicon, what happened to all that money? Because so many people in independent media, you know them, have talked about how majority of our budget from the Pentagon, of our money, goes into the Pentagon for military projects and then poof, disappears. The Pentagon's never had a successful audit. Is the Trump administration going to be the first presidential administration to successfully audit the Pentagon? I want to say press X for doubt. I just don't see it happening because of the influence of the military industrial complex. But these are very interesting times. And I say this because now more than ever, we are witnessing fast-paced operations. Usually the government moves slow. We're not seeing a lot of changes usually take place this fast and happening at a rapid pace. The collective meltdowns are hilarious, though, because the Democrats cannot or are truly incapable of organizing any quote-unquote resistance against this because they're involved in it too, just like some Republican lawmakers. Right now, they're following the tune of Trump, but the actions of Doge, Trump, Elon, must be looked at a wider scope. There has been ongoing, continuous corruption and abuse of resources happening in D.C. Accountability needs to happen. And this is where us, the people, have to realize that we did contribute to this by electing these jagoff politicians. Many of us are waking up to it. Wake up to the fact that they have been abusing their power, hurting us, because when we need help and aid, it's nowhere to be found. But for some reason, USAID had that money. I want to know what else is being wasted. Where is our money? Where are our resources? Where's the help for the American people? We need to know that. Simple as that.